Hello there guys, and welcome to the second race of the Tuesday. Two race, I don't know what to call about it, but it is like a two race day. So yeah, I just forgot. Well, I didn't know which word to say. Grind it won't fit. Another endurance, because two races will equal like 100% race, and for me it isn't an endurance. For me endurance will be like if I have three races of 50% race length, or maybe five of them, or maybe two 100% race distance races. So yeah, if you haven't watched the previous part of the Elite Racing League part, make sure you watched it. But if you're just only interested in Hydro Racing League, that's why I just made a separate video about it. Or maybe if you were just about to see the all the two parts together, yeah, you could see the second chapter is the second part of the day. So yeah, make sure to go there and maybe understand my context if I said that thing. But here we are on our out lap to set, well, maybe to begin to set our lap time in qualifying, because we need to do a good qualifying, because remember, well, I didn't say that thing, but yeah, I'll be busy in those days, and well, I'm reserve driver in this league, but that meant that, well, despite replacing the drivers, I won't be available after this race to replace the drivers in this league. I mean Alpha Tier, because yeah, the race is like 9 p.m. At my local time, and it's pretty late for me. 8 p.m. it will be acceptable for me, but 9 p.m. It is just a little bit bad. But we are seeing myself heading to set a lap time, a decent one, and hope we are doing this thing. Theirs is wide open, although I'm thinking I didn't do turn 5 greatly, and we are ending sector 1 with a personal best, obviously, because we haven't set a lap time, and this is the first lap time I'm doing in this session, so it'll be obvious I'll get a personal best. And we are about to get into the Singapore Sling, aka turn 10, and we just cut smoothly down to third gear. We are about to exit the bridge, and we are heading into turn 13, and DRS is going to be open right now, and now it's open, and we are seeing that ending sector 2, it's a 104.061. I don't know, it may be decent, but well, let's see if sector 3 will be as decent as the other sectors. But we are heading into these technical corners of sector 3. We're into the famous turn 18. We are now heading to turn 20, and now exiting turn 21, and we're about to end this lap. Turns 22 and 23, a little bit dizzy, but the doors opened, and we just finished a lap time with the 137.198, which puts us into provisional pole position. Although I know that I won't maintain my pole position, and well, as you could see, Alex got a better lap time as me, just seconds after I set my lap. So that'll be a tough one if I want to get pole, but let's just give it a try at least. So maybe I will qualify like P8 or P7, but at least let's just try. Maybe we could get into the front row at least, or maybe P3. Then on my second planning lap, which in this time it was on a new set of soft tires. As you could see, I just got a snap of oversteer exiting the Singapore sling, and to make things worse, I got a terrible entry into turn 13. I just went very badly with the brakes. Maybe I just braked too violently, I think so. Or maybe I just got some oversteer, but we're seeing that the front brake bias is up into 54% instead of 53%, as I grabbed from the time trials, and we are about to finish the lap time, which is 1.1 seconds slower, now 1.2, and I decided to not finish the lap time and instead going into the pits and into the garage. I went till the 2-minute mark. As you can see, the reason why I decided to not finish my lap time, it's because it's 5 minutes before the qualifying ends, and I wasn't gambling at all that. Well, in other words, and I was to try to say something, but well, I have to say it in another way, which is, if I would finish that lap time, I would do the in lap, and maybe that'll take more than 2 minutes. And yeah, I was a bit scared that it'll be the timer will be when I just entered the garage, like 2 minutes 30, and my teammate would get into the garage and make me the process of leaving the garage way slower, and that'll impede me to reach the finish line to start my lap time, because that could happen after qualifying ended. So yeah, I'm not going to risk that thing. And well, we are just setting our new soft tires. Remember that I just chosen I have chosen the softer tire location, so I have 4 sets of softs, and 3 of them I'll use it for qualifying, and that'll mean that of these 3 laps will be on new softs, and 1 will be saved from the race. Hope you understand that I said 1 and not while, but yeah, sorry about that. But that meant that I'll just have 1 set of medium tires instead of 2, and that's the main reason why I usually choose the balanced tire location, because I'm just in case there is a safety car mid-race, and I have just begun like in hard tires, then box for mediums, and then the safety car happens like mid-race, and then I have to box for mediums. Yeah, that is why. Meanwhile, we are waiting until the 2-minute 20 mark, not the 2 minutes, because the lap time is too long. And well, as you can see, I'm just changing my soft tires, and I'm now leaving the garage. Yeah. Hope I can do this lap time extremely well. Alright, so we are about to begin our final flying lap of this session. We are seeing that we dropped down to 4th place, and hope we can make a way better lap time. We are on our new soft tires, so that means that I should get better, and maybe I'll have more grip because of the track evolution. And we're seeing that unfortunately, getting each turn 5, we are losing 600 of a second, but we're seeing that there was no difference in gaining exiting turn 6, so I mean turn 5, and we are now heading into sector 2. Well, we are now there, and we are about to enter turn 9, and we're seeing that we are now gaining 2 per hundredths of a second. I tried to improvise there, and I almost hit the wall, and we are able to enter turn 13, and on this time I was just getting it decently, at least. We are just barely gaining 100th of a second, and we are into turn 14, and we're seeing that we're now gaining 1/10 of a second, and we are heading into these technical corners. Alex sets a better lap time, and we are seeing that we are overall gaining 5/10 of a second, and we are now ending these technical corners, and we're heading into the last corners, turns 22 and 23. Unfortunately, I just lost some time, and overall we improved 4/10 of a second, and we set a lap time of 1:36.702, which puts us, surprisingly for me, into 3rd place. I expected to be like maybe in the front row, maybe into pole, but yeah, I didn't expect to just be in 3rd, but well, at least it isn't that bad. 3rd place, at least I just gained a place. It could be worse. I could just set that lap time and still maintain 4th place, but now qualifying is over, and let's just get into the qualifying results, although you have seen there, but I'll explain more details seconds later, so let's head now. Alright, so here it is, the qualifying results. Alex got the pole position, which I got a little bit surprised, given that it's an Alpine and it's Wirowski's teammate, and I didn't know that he was that fast. And then Wero, who has betrayed our team, he has moved from THR all the way to XRX, qualified in the front row but not on pole. I qualified 3rd, Raptor 4th, Bucking 5th, Churrasco in 6th, Mochis in 7th, Wirowski in 8th, John Puck in 9th, my teammate, Samuel in 10th, and Arcade, Ochoa, Farfan, and Lomelin are the ones who qualified outside of top 10 but inside of the top 14. Although I think that Arcade was the last one, or maybe Samuel was the last one who set a proper lap time, because I'm seeing that Arcade set a lap time 3.5 seconds lower than Alex, and Ochoa set a lap time 4.2 seconds than Alex, and Farfan 5.4 seconds lower. But the real one that didn't even didn't even try was Lomelin, who qualified 15 seconds lower than Alex, and he was on mediums. If the 107% rule was implemented, I don't think neither Farfan and Lomelin would qualify for the race, and we would have just only 12 starters. So, well, at least they are lucky that the 107% rule doesn't exist in the game, so they can head into the race, and so as we. So here it is, the pre-race strategy. It's going to be a hard medium strategy, the default one. As usual, no car setup changes for the race, and we've lowered the fuel down to 54.1 kilograms. Hope we have a safety car, but if not, well, I'm just trying to be a little bit conservative, just in case I don't want to overtake some drivers and want to just go for the long game and manage my tires. Hope I get the second option, but that is it. That is the pre-race strategy. Let's head to the race. Remember that there's no formation lap. Alright, so we are about to begin the race. We're waiting for the other players to load, and now they have the 5 red lights have turned on and it's lights out, and we are on the way for the Singapore race in HRL Tier 1, and we're seeing that Widow, well, squeezed me out, but still I maintain my P3, so nothing crazy there, but I almost got it's not off over still, well, I got but I almost spawned, but the safety car got deployed because one driver got retired. I don't know who was that driver, but yeah, the important thing that one driver retired, and that means that After the safety car, I won't need to conserve my fuel anymore, but still, I have to conserve my tires in order to not deteriorate. Although I don't have to worry too much because I'm on hards. I have to worry if I'm on soft tires because I can overcook them. It could get like into the overheating zone, but it's lap 1, so we are staying out. And during the race start, I'm I don't usually say my emotions during the race start, but in this one that was very stressing. I was extremely stressed, and yeah, I was a little bit scared. I also got scared in the final laps of Abu Dhabi in Elite Racing League season finale. Yeah, I was also stressed, and I was still stressed at this point. As I said, we're staying out because we're on hard tires, and also it's just lap 1. So, and also we just only have one set of medium. So, yeah, that's the reason why we are staying out. And I think that's the obvious choice, unless one driver started on softs and they have chosen the balanced set of tire allocation, or maybe also he had a front wing destroyed. We are heading to the safety car, and we are waiting until it ends. Meanwhile, we are maintaining our tires to the optimal temperature, despite these tires being at 92 degrees Celsius. They'll drop down the temperature because we are going slower and also slow in the corner, so that means that there won't be much stress with the tires. So that means that the tires will get way colder, and maybe they can get down to the too cold zone. So let's not let that happen. Let's not let that. So let's just wait until the safety car ends. Meanwhile, doing that. And that wait for the safety car to end is going to happen at the end of lap 4. In our words, right now, we are now in the middle of the tunnel that begins turn 19, I think. Yeah, turn 19. We have exited that corner, but we are about to begin racing once again, beginning lap 5. And this time, well, I'm just trying to not overtake Cuero, but we are seeing that I think I made contact with one driver, but fortunately I didn't get the 3-second time penalty. But we're seeing that because of that Raptor boxed, and maybe it was because he got a piece of the front wing broken, and you know, this circuit is technical and that needs much downforce, and well, his front wing got damaged, and that means that there's less downforce, so he went to the pits to get a new wing. That's just unfortunate for us. Well, hope he doesn't report me. We are now on lap 5, and I decided to just play the waiting game. I'm just managing my tires, and well, hope they are gonna fight until death to see them destroy their tires and overtake them later on. Maybe it will be too long. Maybe it will take like an entire stint. Maybe they'll box prematurely. But well, let's see. Everything can happen. But well, let's see if they are about to manage their tires, or maybe they'll fight to death and destroy their tires. Meanwhile, the waiting game is still on lap 7, and maybe they're not fighting, but we're seeing that Alex is going to box, even though he's on hard tires, and it's barely lap 7. We aren't even halfway, not even quarter to the race. In other words, I think I should say that we haven't even completed a quarter of the race, and Alex, I don't know why, but he decided to box. That might cost him a lot, or maybe he's just gambling at all, and maybe there's a safety car, I don't know, but I'm just still managing my tires, just in case that Agüero just gets gets way faster and destroys his tires by just increasing the gap between himself and myself. Meanwhile, we have exited turn 9 and we are about to enter the Singapore Sling turn 10, and we are into those technical corners, about to enter the bridge, which is exiting turn 12, and now we are passing through it, and we are about to exit turn 13, and we're seeing that the gap between Water and myself is now 1.1 seconds, now 1.2, and we are beginning sector 3 and exiting turn 14. We're seeing that Water has a 3-second time penalty, and that means that because he is less than 3 seconds ahead of me, that means that he should be all the way down to second place, and I'm now leading the race. So it is from a waiting game to can I maintain my race lead with Guero. In other words, can I maintain the gap with him with less than 3 seconds? Hope we can. He doesn't drive godly, although maybe he will, but we're seeing that the gap is still maintaining the same. He got a terrible turn 3 exit, and that gave me the RS, I think. And yes, I got the RS, so yeah, that is now a game to maintain the lead of the race. I have to be careful as well, because I don't have to exceed the track limit, or else I'll give I'll get warnings, and maybe I'll get a 3-second time penalty for accumulating 3 warnings. So let's try to be careful, and let's also maintain the gap less than 3 seconds behind him in order to demote him down to second place by his penalty. We're seeing that Guero has got a terrible entry to turn 13. I almost overtook him, but decided to not do it, and instead I decided to just maintain my place. But well, let's see if this game that I'm playing works. Later on lap 13, well, almost nothing happened during that cut. The only important thing that happened was that the virtual safety car that got deployed, but that didn't alter anything, so that's why I didn't show you. Meanwhile, we're still maintaining that gap, fortunately. It's just a patient game. We're just doing this until the end of the race, or maybe until the end of the stint, just in case we jump him in the pit lane. And we are heading into the last corner. We're seeing that Jose Hernandez retired from the race, and that deployed another safety car, the second one of this race, and that's going to alter a lot of things. And we almost overtook the safety car. We almost didn't do that thing. Fortunately, the safety car didn't get out of the pit lane after we what am I saying? Oh yeah, we are fortunate that we overtook the safety car before he exited the pit lane. If he exited the pit lane before we overtook it, that meant that we should be behind the safety car, and that'll be a tremendous disadvantage, because that'll mean that we have to wait until the end of this lap to box for mediums, and that'll bring a lot of trouble for us, and will drop down places. Fortunately, that didn't happen. We are just going slowly. The lap, I don't know what am I saying. Sorry about that misunderstanding. What am I trying to say is that we are just going slowly. You just match the delta time in order to not get penalized. And we're seeing that Wiroski got a drive-through penalty. Well, he did not respect the delta time. Too bad for him. Meanwhile, we are about to end this lap, so we are about to pit. Hope we can jump Guero. or maybe I don't want to jump Guero and not overtake him after the safety car ends in order to get DRS. And also in order to manage a little bit my tires. We are now in the pit lane, and unfortunately I turned in too early that I get a slow stop. But that wasn't too bad, because in reality I didn't lose any positions, because look at the gap between Samuel and myself. Samuel is in 3rd place, meanwhile I'm in 2nd place. Well, it was at 37.8 seconds. That was very large, the gap. 38.1 seconds now. And he's also boxing. Maybe the gap is maintaining the same. And we're seeing that the gap between Gurowski and myself, which he is now in 3rd place, he's closing the gap, because we are now in the safety car queue, and Gurowski is about to join. Well, not about, because it'll take like seconds, maybe half a minute, because the gap is just too long. But what is true is that Gurowski is going to be the first one to join us after us. But he'll be in a disadvantage because he has a drive-through penalty. But yeah. Meanwhile, we are just heating up our tires, and we are just waiting for the safety car to end, and hope it is soon. No, I don't hope it is soon, because we aren't halfway through the race and we are on medium sand. We are going with these tires until the end of the race, and I don't want to stress too much the tires too early, or else I'll deteriorate the tires and I'll be in a disadvantage, and maybe that'll cost me the race win. So let's hope that the safety car ends a little bit late, like lap 16 or 17. Hope that is the case. And the safety car is going to end at the end of lap 17, and we are ending right now, and racing is going to be once again restarted. We are now heading into turn 22, now about to exit the last corner, and we are now beginning racing once again. Lap 18, we are once again playing that game of maintaining the 3-second gap with Guero in order to promote myself to the race win by his penalty. And we are now, another safety car got deployed, and we are now just very slow because of the safety car. And well, on this time, the league owner, I was going to say the streamer, although yes, he is the streamer, the caster, the league owner, whatever you want to say, or Eddie, which is his username. I overheard him that it was going to be a red flag. It is going to be a red flag. I overheard him on his Twitch stream. I just kept turn on my computer at a very high volume in order to hear at least some bit of his audio from the league being room, because it's a little bit far in, and also the walls and doors are just making the sound more silent than it should be. And oh boy, we just made contact with Guero, and well, fortunately we didn't get the penalty. I was just very scared, and I thought that that'll be done and it'll be over, the race win, because I would get the 5-second time penalty, but fortunately it didn't happen, and we are now going to move to another lobby. The reason why he triggered the red flag is because there are some issues with the game, and well, we're seeing that Wiroski could get disqualified from the race because he's not serving his drive-through penalty, and there are more drivers retired from the race, and we're seeing that Eddie has left the session, so he'll create the lobby soon after it. So let's now move to this pre-race strategy. Well, I wouldn't say pre-race strategy, more like pre-restart strategy. Hope you understood the words I said before that, because I just realized that I don't think I have said those words clearly. Sorry about that, but I don't have much time. But let's now head to the pre-restart strategy, as I said seconds earlier. Okay, so here we are with the pre-race strategy for the restart. Before that, I'm just grabbing my setup. I won't forget about that. And also, I changed my brake bias all the way up into 54% instead of 53%. And given that we just restarted the race halfway through the race, the restart is on a 25% race distance, so we reduced the fuel down to 27 kilograms, and it's going to be a medium soft strategy. Hope there's no safety car at the beginning of the race, so let's now head to the race. But before that, let's just wait for the other players to get ready for it. Now we're just waiting for the fight brake lights being turned on. Now they are, and we are now about to begin the race, and it's lights out, and away we go for the restart of the race. And we're seeing that we overtook Guero into turn 1. I decided to just back off a little bit, and we are seeing that Guero and myself are the only two drivers where in the top 5 that started with mediums, but now Raptor is in the top 5 and he also started with mediums. So I don't know, maybe there's a mix between the drivers who started with soft tires and with mediums, but I don't know, maybe the drivers who started the soft tires are more amounts of drivers than the ones who started with mediums. Yeah, I was just getting a little bit lost with the words I was going to say, but meanwhile we're still playing the game of maintaining the gap between Guero and myself, which is less than 3 seconds behind him. And remember, despite not having the 3-second time penalty in this restart, I asked the caster if Guero's penalty will still be maintained, because we moved to another lobby, and that means that his penalty would get removed by the game, but he said that he'll still get the penalty, so we're still playing the game of maintaining the gap between Guero and myself, less than 3 seconds, in order to maintain the race win. Well, hope we don't get another warning, or maybe 3 warnings, but we just got a warning, the first warning of the race. Guero sets the fastest lap, so he might get a little bit further from us. As long as he isn't more than 3 seconds ahead of us, we're still leading the race. And well, as I said laps earlier, not seconds, minutes earlier, I have to be careful with the track limits. If I get 3 warnings, we'll get the 3-second time penalty. The driver retired from the race, but that didn't trigger the safety car because I think he retired from the pit lane, so there's no problem about that. So let's just still play with that game. Both watches retired from the race, and there's no safety car, so well, let's still play this game. Meanwhile, we are ending the 3rd lap of the restart, and I've got DRS, and fortunately that meant that I maintained the gap with Guero for now. And we're seeing that Draco retired from the race, and that deployed the full course safety car. It is the 4th lap of the restart out of 15. Man, we aren't halfway through the restart, and that means that we have to box for softs, and that means that we are on a disadvantage. Maybe we should consider staying out, but I don't know. If the engineer doesn't tell us to maybe box 4 softs, maybe we should consider staying out, or maybe we should gamble and box 4 softs, but the engineer recommended us, so that means that it'll be a safe option, to be honest. So, well, hope that gamble, not really a gamble, pays off. But yeah, they got lucky, the ones who started on softs, because they'll get a free pit stop, and also because they are going to box 4 mediums. That means that they'll gonna be in a little bit advantage in terms of tire wear. I was just checking which drivers wearing which tires, and I just found out that most of the drivers were on soft and start on these tires. So maybe we are on a disadvantage, maybe, but well, let's just try to minimize the disadvantage. Meanwhile, we are slowly I was going to say terminating, but it is the wrong word. I should say finishing the lap to get into the pit lane and box 4 softs. Although I'm a little bit afraid that these softs won't get into the end, because that will mean that we'll be doing 11 laps with the soft tires. And remember that it is a 25% race distance, so tire wear is way different than the first 50% race distance. And the difference between the 25 and the 50 is that in 25 you get a worse tire wear because it's a shorter race, but the developers decided to just make the tires less durable in shorter race distance. So yeah, we have to take note of that. Meanwhile, we are heading to the safety car. We dropped down to 4th place because 2 drivers decided to just stay out. One is Raptor, I think, and the other is Churrasco. And we are heating up the tires, but in this time it is going to be less aggressive because the soft tires gets heated up faster. So let's just wait until this safety car ends. And the wait for the safety car to end is going to happen at the end of lap 6. So we'll have 9 laps to see if these soft tires are going to last until the end of the race. Raptor will have the advantage because I think he boxed for, I know, he stayed out, I forgot about it. The other driver, Churrasco, boxed later on. I don't know why he didn't box right after the safety car started, but yeah, I think he got a little bit a disadvantage, and maybe his rain got ruined. I was going to say rain, but yeah, that was to complete the world race. But we are now on lap 7 and with soft tires, so that means that I'll have more grip, and that means that in corner entries it'll be way faster. And we're seeing that there's battle between the Widow and Raptor for the race lead, and we're seeing that they're well to well into turn 9, where he's about to overtake Raptor down the inside, and we well, he's up into the race lead, but remember that he has a 3-second time penalty, so that means that he might get demoted to like 5th or 6th place. We are about to get into turn 13, and we are now exiting turn 13, and oh no! Unfortunately, I got too confident with the corner exit, and I thought that I would get that amount of grip, but unfortunately, I just overcooked my tires, and well, I just overtook Cherno, and we are up into P8. We were in P9, but that is just disastrous for us. I was just very stressed about it, and I don't know what to mean about it, but yeah, the thing is that we are on a disadvantage and we need to come back right now and use these soft tires. Maybe the soft tires are overcooked and we're seeing that Raptor is going to the pits, so one position gain, and we are on to P7, but hope we can use the most with the soft tires, and we are about to overtake Arcade Zero, the only one that I know that he isn't Mexican in this league. He's from El Salvador, I think. Well, the RT isn't enabled in this lap. It is going to be enabled at the next lap, and I just overtook him, and we are up into P6. At least we are doing some comeback, but yeah, that is just terrible for us. If I didn't make that mistake, we should be in like P3, maybe P2, maybe into race lead, applying the penalties from Güero, and we're seeing that the tires are at 103 degrees Celsius in one of them, not at 104. I don't know, maybe I'm just overcooking the tires and maybe they'll deteriorate, but yeah, I was just a little bit angry about it, and I wanted to be as fast as possible and be an aggressive one, but unfortunately that'll be extremely hard to overtake these drivers, because one, the gap between myself and the next driver is 2.3 seconds, and second, he is my teammate, the one who is ahead of me, so that'll be very difficult. Maybe he won't let me pass, but maybe he will, but Güero sets the fastest lap. I don't know, but it'll be a tough one. Unfortunately, I couldn't overtake anyone. Despite that, still the gap got close a little bit, from like 2.4 seconds all the way down to 1.7 seconds, but there's battle for P3 for the podium, and we are seeing that Samuel has a 3-second time penalty, so that means that I can be up into P5, even though I didn't overtake him. As long as I am 3 seconds behind him or less, I'll still be in P5, but we're seeing that Samuel is very back, and I decided just do a dap bomb into turn 8, and I just got anchored, and no, you cannot do this to me. He didn't back off, man. Yeah, sorry about that, but it may sound that I just rammed him into the wall, but he didn't back off, and I almost got karma, slightly instantly, because I almost crashed into the wall and spun and destroyed my front wing, but fortunately I just saved the car. If it wasn't by that, it'll be karma. It'll be karma from ramming into the wall. Yeah, ramming someone into the wall, and yeah. One thing I almost forgot to say is that in one time my tires were too overcooked, that they were in the overheating zone. They were like 107 degrees Celsius, and we're seeing that Güero is struggling with the sub tires. I don't know what's happening to him, and we are seeing that he's going slowly in the corners, and I couldn't go fast, and we're seeing that he has a front wing damage, and he is run out of ERS. There's 2 laps to go, and my teammate is now 3.3 seconds ahead of me, and I overtook him. Well, him, I'm referring to Güero. I'm up into P4. Unfortunately, the gap has now come too much that that seems impossible to overtake him, unless he spins or crashes into a wall and damages his front wing, and that meant that he needs to box, or well, just 2 laps to go, so he wouldn't box, or maybe he would destroy his front wing and lose him like 3 seconds per lap, or maybe DNF. But that case, he won't do that thing, because I've seen in the previous 2 races that he might be a little bit clean, so I doubt that he'll do those mistakes. And also, he is in the middle of nowhere, so maybe he won't be that pressurized. I mean, so he's up into P3, and well, at least it is my teammate, so that will be a huge plus for the team. At least it is a 3-4 for the team. Yeah, if it wasn't by that, although I thought that the situation of that spin wouldn't be that bad because still my tires will be so deteriorated. The reason why was slow is because he had his front wing damage, so maybe I could still be in the race lead, maybe down into P2 or P3, but just like that. And we are now into the final lap of the race, and we are ending that very long endurance, that 2 race marathon, because it was going to be like more than 4 hours. Yeah. First it was the THR Ragnarok, which I couldn't complete because I had to assist the Elite Racing League season finale, and then this race, and I almost ran wide and crashed into the wall. But yeah, unfortunately the second race, which is this, wasn't as good as I was expecting, but still, P4, it could have been worse. I could end up like Güero, or maybe, I just saw in the replays that with that spin I touched the wall. And I was fortunate that I didn't damage my front wing. The car got intact, so yeah, I was a bit lucky with that. And the gap is now reducing down to 2.2 seconds. The gap between my teammate and myself, and Alex wins the race, and Wiroski finishes second place, which means it is a 1-2 for Alpine. And I'm a bit ashamed because Wiroski finished ahead of me, and I know that he's been slower than me. And Jumpak finished third, and I finished fourth. Well, I think he'll finish fifth, and Raptor sixth, Churrasco and Arcade A78 for Alfa Romeo. Cherno finishes ninth, unless he DNFs or spins, and Farfan could finish last, and we're seeing that Güero has his front wing completely destroyed. But yeah, that is the race. That is it. Let's now head to the race results. So here it is, the race results. Alex and Wiroski both make a 1-2 for Alpine. Jumpak, my teammate, and myself makes a 3-4 for McLaren. Although, if it wasn't by that mistake I made, I could have won the race, maybe. Or maybe to P2 at least. Yeah, that is just terrible for me. Although, fortunately, I didn't end up like Güero, who finished 5th place with a damaged front wing. Raptor, despite setting the fastest lap, finished P6, but at least he got 1 more point. So instead of getting 8, he got 9 points. Churrasco and Arcade Zero make a 7-8 for Alfa Romeo, and I just see that Arcade Zero is El Salvadoran, so yeah, just to confirm, Cherno finished 9th, and Farfan, well, Cherno and Farfan are the only ones who finished more than a minute behind the race winner, but despite that, they didn't end up being lapped. And yeah, just only 10 drivers finished the race, and yeah, that is it. Finally, I could rest now. After, yeah, just 3 races on this tier as a reserve driver, but unfortunately I'm no longer available to replace Jumpak's teammate at McLaren anymore. That's a little bit unfortunate for me, but yeah, hope they get some nice races, some decent ones, and well, yeah, hope that my teammate isn't alone without me, and hope he finds another teammate. So yeah, that is it. Hope you have enjoyed this long video. but not that long if you have watched the separate videos. But if you have watched the united parts, yeah, it should be a long video for you. And yeah, and see you guys in the next race. Goodbye.